From the studios of Foxboro Cable Access, located in the center of Foxborough, Massachusetts, you are watching Around Foxborough.
Hi, I'm Steve Udden, and welcome to Around Foxborough. I'm here with our friends from the Ponset Valley Walk for Alzheimer's, and we're going to have, I think, a very interesting and beautiful show about what they do and what they support in the community. I'd like to welcome Jacy and my friend Donna. Jacy is the manager of the program, and Donna is the chair. They both have different roles in the organization for the walk, and we're going to talk about a few things and hope that we get people that watch it that want to get engaged or can find help and comfort in what your services can provide. Would you, Jacy, start with your overarching view of what the walk is?
Yeah, sure. First of all, I would say the Alzheimer's Association as a whole is the leading voluntary organization for Alzheimer's care support and research. But it is the Walk to End Alzheimer's that is the largest campaign and largest event to generate the funds for said care supports and research. So it keeps us moving forward with research as well as services that we provide. The walk itself is a celebration, and it will be at Patriot Place on October 20th, which is a Sunday. So Sunday, October 20th at Patriot Place. It's about a 3-mile walk around the stadium and the shops.
So they're going to stay on the stadium property?
Definitely.
Okay, we have other activities like this in town, and sometimes they go everywhere or ride bikes through it, or you never know. So you're going to stay on the stadium grounds?
Correct. And last year we raised over $329,000 for our programs, and this year our goal is 418, and aiming to have around 2,000 people.
Wow!
So it's a big deal, but it is exciting to be a part of this, and it's for all people that are impacted.
It's families, it's children, it's dogs. So you say 2,000 people, but they're all age groups.
Right.
Plus
right.
their pets, and they really embrace it and have a good time with it.
And depending on the stage one might be in Alzheimer's, it's affected my family. Do patients, if that's the right term, walk in the walk as well, depending on their ability to do so with their condition? Oh, that must be remarkable.
It's
to have the whole blend
They
of
walk,
the human
they are in
condition
wheelchairs, they're pushed by their family.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
It is really a community event, and just like Donna said, whether you're a teenager or a youngster, it could be your uncle, it could be your
A
mom
club or a
dad.
church group could organize as a, the
You're going to have a Team Pro
Yes.
walk or
Acme Church
Yes.
men's walk group,
We take
and they
anybody.
raise money. So if I have it correct, please correct me if I'm wrong, you don't just show up and walk. You're intended to fundraise on, say, what, a per mile or a per step or just straight donations, or is it a salad of all of those?
Sure. One thing I would like to say before I talk about the fundraising aspect
Sure.
and how to get involved is at the event, yes, it is a walk. People may have experienced it, have seen things on TV, but it's very impactful because when the participants show up, they will get a pinwheel flower. Each flower represents how you are impacted by Alzheimer's. For example, if you have a purple flower, you've lost someone to Alzheimer's. If you're a yellow flower, you're a caregiver. So we have, during the Promise Garden ceremony, that is acknowledged. So you will see the flowers go up at the time. So it's one of those things that, yes, it is a celebration. During the ceremony, it's very impactful because you can see as you raise the flowers that you're not alone and you're in the fight to end the disease together. And it's very emotional, and the speakers are local on stage, but really impactful and exciting because even once the walk actually starts, we do have a garden. At Patriot Place, we have hay bales where you can place those pinwheel flowers in to plant to essentially make it a beautiful part of the site.
The sentiment is, no matter how it's sort of, if you will, set up on a stage type environment, it's a meadow of beautiful involvement for all of us, right?
Yes.
Near and far, right?
Yeah.
That's a really lovely gesture or symbol that you're doing.
I definitely think it's an honor, and I mean,
Yeah.
and as someone, I mean, I would, Donna has been in our being the chair of the committee and leading the way, as well as our committees and volunteers. I definitely want to thank all of them, as well as the Norfolk County Commissioners. But we all have stories, and even then, I know Donna could speak to more of her story about the Promise Garden, the flower color she represents, because I think it's important to know that we're sitting here, however, it is personal.
I'm not patting myself on the back, but one of the things I enjoy is volunteering and my family. How can the community get involved with this, whether it's people that need to move the hay bales to get them to do the ceremony, or walk or donate? Like, there's got to be an infrastructure that's largely volunteer, and maybe some people who are paid. I don't know. That's none of my business. We'll talk about how we spend the money later. But how can the community get involved, either by reaching out to you or following whatever we put up on the screen here, and for our viewers, or contacting you directly? Like, do you need pickup trucks? Do you need balloons, cake, water bottles? There's so many things you need when you have a huge herd like this, right?
Sure. I mean, and Donna, can please, obviously, if I miss anything, let me know. But I always have taken the aspect that anything is good. Meaning, you can come on site and cheer, because it's really enthusiastic.
Sure.
That's a big piece that we've been missing over the last couple of years. We want cheerleaders. If you're sitting in a wheelchair, you can come and cheer for us and cheer the walkers on.
That's great, like the Boston Marathon, right? People with cowbells and air horns and I don't know.
We had a purple dinosaur. Someone last year with
Right.
a purple inflatable dinosaur come out there. It's just, it's engaging. This can be church groups. This could be high school groups that need community service hours. The one thing I would like to say is as far as it could be call banks. There's really anything that's generating awareness is great. And then to participate in Walk, it's essentially free. I mean, there's no fundraising requirement to raise for Walk.
Really?
It could be $1. It could be
$1 million.
Right. You can, if you're an organization, you can sponsor and have a table at the Walk. But again, to have a team for the Walk, free, and to just walk as a single person, free. There's no pressure to fundraise. It's a matter of how much you want to get involved, and that's what I'm saying that it's without a fundraising requirement. We generally want this to be from the heart.
But fundraising sure as heck helps, right?
It
I mean,
does.
like, you can pass the hat at work, or you can ask your friends at church, or your like, there are friends we have in the town, like we have the Jacys, the Foxboro Jacys. We have the Knights of Columbus. We have the Masons. We have the Foxboro Rotary. We have all sorts of remarkable community-spirited people in this town, and our companies too. We have, of course, you mentioned Patriot Place, and all those involved with Patriot Place have been always generous to the town for a great many things. Schneider Electric here in town participates in all sorts of events. It was formerly known as a Foxboro company, if you don't know who that is, but,
Yes.
or the company is people that have had many generations. How else would you like? Give me, if you can, do you have wishes? Like, we wish we had more cheerleaders. We wish we had more.
What we do behind the scenes is
Excuse me, I'm just going to have some
And we've been starting
FCA
since
water here.
like March or April, I guess. What we do is we get connected with people in communities to help us out. We've had, what's the Rentham School? We've had some
King Philip High School.
King Philip
Oh,
High
KP,
School.
yeah.
We've had some students from there who need community service. So we
Yeah.
involve those people to do some phone calls for us, to put up
Yard signs.
signs when we're getting closer to the walk. We'll go into, we've gone to the dairies, or we've gone and done like, if you eat there, they'll give you a certain percentage off. Which
Oh, sure, yeah.
But we look for those kind of people just to do some hands-on behind the scenes for us, and especially as we get closer.
Do you need food or orange slices or bottles of water or anything like that? We're going to be in the summertime. I'm sure everybody looks up to the clouds the day before the event or the week before the event. Is there anything that you need that you don't have that you're trying to reach out and people in the community watching might be able to say, hey, I just heard this on TV?
I think the answer is yes for pretty much all, because I think it's going back to the anything is good. It's just a matter of like anything that's going to really make the event more festive or be of help, whether it's supplying apples and bananas or,
Sure.
or things of that sort. Absolutely. And again, the needs and things of that sort. It's like for me, it is just like how Donna says, getting out there into to the public. But I also think of like introductions and things of that sort, meaning that if you're at a Foxborough Jacy's or you're at a Lions Club or whatnot, we have, and then this is why we fundraise for the walk, is to keep our programs and services free.
So if I could back up we still have about a little less than 20 minutes left, but if I could back up.
Sure.
You said you saw 300,000 and change last year, is that what you
That's
said?
how much we fundraise.
And you're targeting 400,000 and maybe a little more than that. Of course, the sky's always the limit, right? The dream. How do you spend the money? I always ask that, whenever I donate, and I don't mean to be cynical. It's just that how are the funds distributed, or through what services, including keeping the lights on in whatever, business office you may have, or places that you meet or rent out, whatever.
Sure.
Can you talk?
Talk
about that?
I can talk
That'd
a little
be
bit about that. So, number one, all of our programs and services are free. It is the fundraising that we do to keep the lights on, but to keep everything free. For example, we have programs and services that are educational. We can go into a financial institution, a church, a club, and we have a program or a menu of programs like Know the 10 Signs. So you can know the 10 signs of happiness, as well as healthy brain and healthy living. So it's one of those things that you can, our colleagues will be the ones, presenting those, but it keeps those programs free. We also have care consultations where our staff can meet one-on-one with families to help generate a plan and how they need help. But most importantly, the one thing that I will always brag about and shout out is our 24/7 helpline.
Okay.
That helpline is, you can call any daytime.
I think I have it here, and we'll definitely post it. But the helpline, that's 24/7,
24/7.
is 1-800-272-3900. I'm going to read that one more
Please.
time, okay? Because I'm always the guy that runs out of the phone number in the last 4 digits. The 24-hour Alzheimer's helpline, it's a free service, is 1-800-272-3900. And we'll also talk about a website a little later, too. Friends. So we've talked about how we distribute the money, which is basically into your bank and out to the services as finances allow, right?
One thing I would also like to add on to that is research and advocacy, because those dollars also help us fund research to ultimately, hopefully find a cure. Right now, the FDA has approved Leqembi and Aduhelm. Leqembi is actually out there now and being in the community for our patients now. So we're in an era of treatment now, which is exciting. But again, it's the research dollars, it's the advocacy that we do for the local legislators. And that, so for me, whenever you're fundraising, there are many buckets, but it's all to move the mission forward to ultimately end the disease and find a cure, and also helping the families.
Wow.
So it's really a wonderful service. But I really,
Incredible,
for those,
huh, Donna? Really.
for those that I would, the one thing I will say is like, I'm very proud to work for the association, but I would always go back to that helpline. Because personally,
The 1-800 number.
yeah, the 1-800 number I have, because
We'll show that again,
yeah,
too,
yeah,
on
it's
the TV.
I cannot. If there's anything that someone gets out of this show, yes, walk, but that helpline can help, and it does. I've had to use it personally.
Who are friends of this that maybe you can thank? And I say that with caution, because you always forget to mention your aunt when you have a wedding toast or whatever. But are there some people that you wanted to talk about that are friends, not necessarily sponsors, maybe that's how you categorize them, but I'd call them friends. Did you want to discuss any of that?
I would like to, if I could, just a quick shout out, so to speak, to the Norfolk County Commissioner's Office of their support to help us generate awareness in the community. And most importantly, I also, and I mentioned it earlier, but I want to also say it again, is thanks to all of those who have volunteered in the past, our current walkers who are impacted every day,
Right.
and our committee. The Neponset Valley Walk Committee is, and Donna leading the way, is just, you're talking about folks that are personally impacted, but they're giving your time and efforts to help us spread the
And the volunteers and the efforts are complicated, because some may be taking care of someone with Alzheimer's, may even have early stage Alzheimer's, I don't know. But there's a million moving parts to volunteering, and especially all hail to the chair, okay? Because chairmanship sometimes can be a lonely place and a busy place in your head when you're trying to execute something. When's the date of this? I forget. I'm probably going to get fired from the show.
October 20th.
October 20th. Rain date?
It was rain or shine.
Rain or
All
shine.
right, all right. We can do that. We're already New
You walk
Englanders.
faster.
We can walk on anything here in New England, right? Okay, so it's coming up in October. You're doing a lot of the chairmanship work. When they spend the money, maybe you can help me. Jacy said some really interesting things. When you fund research, does a lot of it stay in the area, or does some of it also go to like a global research initiative, or a national or a state? Like, I mean, how do you parse the money out, if you do? And either way, it's an interesting, this is a remarkable organization.
Yeah, sure.
So.
We fund a lot of research. However, I think it's to different organizations and things of that sort, but I feel more comfortable letting my programs and services team to answer that in particular.
Okay, that's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a good answer, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now-
we could have other people doing that. I don't always know who to talk to when we do this.
I'm the chair, and we were just talking about legislation and things like that. I feel more comfortable with the volunteering hands-on locally, and some people like to do the legislative side. So
Right.
there are days we go to the State House. I think we do it in the spring, and then there's days that they go to Washington, D.C. and speak to the Congress down there. So there's always something you can do what fits into what you like to do.
Oh, wow. That's terrific. We have a senior center here in Foxborough. We also call it the Human Services Center. Do you reach out to those types of centers, or do they reach out to you? Or if they're watching, could say, oh my gosh, I'm going to call that 1-800 number. I have some clients here at the senior center. It's part of our town public service, public works, if you will. So do you go to those people and sometimes they come to you, or how does that work?
It's essentially both. But for me, I'm on the road all the time. Like every day I'm out and about in the community and also making calls. So it's as much as it's me reaching out, we also get them reaching out to us. So really, anyone who's watching, whether it's a senior center
Right.
or a community organization, if you want to get involved, just contact me directly. Go to
Great.
the website, and it's one of those things. It's however you want to get involved is up to you. You can have a free walk team and really have the camaraderie as a whole.
Plus, you never know who you'll meet and be graced with
Oh yeah.
in that meeting, right? It might
Yeah.
be the perfect click at
Yeah.
the perfect time, right?
Yeah. And
You have resources and you provide them for free, but I just want to make sure I understand. But you're not a clinical center for Alzheimer's patients,
correct. No.
right? Because like we have a memory care facility down here,
Yes.
right on at the Sharon border, right? And truth be told, I and my family lost a cousin at around 50 years old to Alzheimer's. It blew us all away, and it Alzheimer's goes like this, and dementia goes kind of like this, right? And the decline was fast and gut wrenching, right? You refer or you can educate people on where to get these services, but you're not clinicians, or are you?
No, you're correct.
Okay.
We have the helpline. If you call that, you're going to talk to licensed social workers, people that are educated to get you to the right places. We have the dementia care consultants who will work one-on-one with families to help generate a plan. It is the most wonderful resource, and I always try to lead people that way because then they can get you to the right spot, answer the questions that you need. My programs and services team will go into facilities, to local organizations, to educate and go from there as well. So,
Can you help advocate for a patient, or do you refer to advocacy for a patient? For example, my father and sister, my adult sister, were the family advocates for my cousin. God bless them both, and God bless Mark in heaven, right? But sometimes people are without a lifeboat
Yes.
if you're alone, and it's your partner or your sister or your brother or whatever. Do you help connect people to advocacy for particular patients? That was the first call we had to make in our family. Like, we don't know where to begin. We hadn't even tackled insurance yet.
Start with that.
start
Hotline.
with, start with-
Okay.
Yeah, you start with the helpline, and from there you'll have the path forward.
Great.
It is.
What a
I-
relief to have this organization.
Yes.
Or a blessing, I like to call it,
And
right?
use that as to find a support group.
Right.
Because I'll tell you my story. My husband at 66 was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. He died at 70.
4 years.
And this first symptom we noticed and every Alzheimer's patient has different symptoms. There's not the same, but he was not finding the words. And then he kept it together for a long time, but it was just, you could tell he was his thinking wasn't quite right. But we went through our own doctor's office and went to a neurologist and went to testing and did the whole 9 yards, and I had support. If I can say anything about this talk, is find a support group, because I met so many people who went through it without someone else besides their family, and you really need outside people supporting you.
For information, and sometimes just to let your heart out, when you're in a moment of your own, right?
Or you could call them if you had to, outside of a meeting we had. So I found that was really, really,
Right.
I could call Mary and say, look, he's just going crazy. But that kind of stuff. So just get your supports. I'm one of those people that goes to the grocery store and said, look at the talk show host who had dementia, and I talked to the woman, and her mother had it, and I gave her my card, I gave her the 800 number, and I connect with a lot of people that way, and if I don't ever see them again, it's just that I know they have the card.
Yeah, there's a grace to you, though. I mean, my dad used to say, you can't keep painting the can. It does no good, right? And when you share all these types of resources and matters of the heart, right? I think that's really important. Insurance. Do we talk about that or not? Is there Alzheimer's insurance? I don't know.
I would.
And I'm not trying to sell it or
Yeah.
invent it. I just wondered if there are people watching that are like, oh my God, how are we going to pay for this? Whatever this is, right? I don't even know what this might be. Does your 800 hotline help
the helpline
navigate
would,
that?
Correct. I've had to make, even me personally, I'm personally connected as well, and I've had to call the helpline for myself. So not only my staff, I had to use my own services, and they will be able to guide you and answer those questions and get you the help. My father is in Florida, and so even for me, I'm calling from here, but I'm calling the helpline, but it's helping me even
Right.
in another state, and it's so again, all these questions that's where you talk to our experts, because then they will get you to the person you need to talk to and what you need, and it could be.
So is there a place in Florida, or they haven't been set up yet?
We have
like Army bases, you know what I mean? Like are there centers in every state?
we have chapters for the
Okay.
Alzheimer's Association, and then we are currently in the Massachusetts, New Hampshire chapter.
Okay.
So obviously we take all the participants, families in our area to help. But obviously, if you call the helpline, you can be anywhere, and they will guide you. You could be in Florida, you can be in California, because we also have chapters out there. But locally, we're tightly knit here in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and it's a lot of resources here. It is an exciting time because of all the things that we're doing.
Do you have to go to New Hampshire, Donna, a lot? Take the
do.
long ride?
I do. But as he's saying, 5 years ago, there were no medications out there to take care of Alzheimer's patients. And if you talk to someone whose family member had it 20 years ago, we were so far behind. So each day is a new day for the Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Right. And exciting or intense, right? Like, when will the FDA approve something for...
That's up to the big wigs for them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we have the Leqembi that's been FDA approved, and now again we're in the area of treatment. So just in the last few years, we've gone from, maybe something's there and they're hoping, but now it's just now we have altering drugs that are slowing down the pace of the disease. But then there's actually more drugs in the pipeline. So I believe that there's an end soon. It's just a matter of time, and we're making those breakthroughs. But it is the walk that is really providing all these services. And also, I want to make a note when we talk about it. Okay, well, it's the staggering numbers. There's just under 7 million Americans dealing with this. In Massachusetts, there's over 135,000 people living with it. But then, if you think about that number, then there's over 200,000, 213,000 or more that are the caregivers. So,
right.
So even
right.
so, you really think of how this is
right.
impacting everyone, and it's just staggering. Even 1 in 3 seniors, or I should say 1 in 3 folks that are over 65 dies because of this. And it's one of those things, for us to generate the awareness where. How do you want to be involved? Do you want to donate things? Do you want to just come cheer? Do you want to fundraise to help push it? It's just the fact that
help with public relations or
correct.
things that
Yes.
can always use a boost.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Donna. We have about 3 or 4 minutes left.
There was one group I happened to contact, the ARC. I don't know if you have any here, but we have it in Brockton.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
It's for mentally challenged adults.
Oh, okay.
And people with Down syndrome have an increased higher rate of dementia. It's
Later in life?
45 to 65. It's a lot earlier in them.
Huh.
It blew my mind when I found that out. I was just amazed. But people, an awareness, and then if we can get to talk to families of those people, and they're people that they work with, that you can kind of connect them so that they have support.
I'd like to end, before I thank you both sincerely, this has been enriching or meaningful to me. Safety is the first job of this walk, right? Like, you are staying in the confines, if you will, of a very well-run business and piece of real estate. Is there anything you want to talk about? Like, you mentioned that you might be able to bring your dog, but are there any safety issues you want to bring up about don't do's when you do this? Like, do you want electric scooters there? Do you want those electric bikes there? And I'm not against them. I'm just saying.
No, it needs to be folks that are walking, or if you need a wheelchair, that's fine. But anything electric, most likely
it's better at home, right? Better at home for that day, right?
Right. But I do want to just say, even with that being said, is the walk is, you can walk as much as you want. If you don't want to walk the whole route, if you want to walk a little bit, you want to just stay and hang out with where the stage is and the loud music. That's all you want to do.
Well,
it's easy.
Donna, I liked what you said, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but the flowers and the colors, as you were talking about, and how you can meet and coordinate and support each other. I wish we could have another half an hour, but I don't have any more change to put in the vending machine that runs these cameras, so we're going to have to wrap up. I'm Steve Udden. This is Around Foxborough, and I'm a substitute host, but this was one of the most meaningful conversations I've had with two very nice people, and we hope that you contact them and can volunteer, sponsor, financially support these people in any way you can, because God bless us if it affects our family, and we need each other. I'm Steve Udden. This is Around Foxborough. I want to thank the folks here at Foxboro Cable and our producer, Jerry Love, and I wish you well. God bless. Thank you.